Shalom and welcome to my show, Messiah. I am Queen Sylvia A. Thomas, and I'm so glad you joined me this evening. On the Hebrew calendar, today is the 30th day of the year 5781 of our Lord Yeshua, Jesus the Christ. It is the last day of the Hebrew month Av. I have a very special guest this evening who is close to my heart. I would like to introduce you to my daughter in love, MeShaundray T. Thomas. MeShaundray works in the field of mental health as a therapist and health advocate. She is a graduate of Florida State University with a Master's of Social Work and licensed clinical social worker degrees. MeShaundray has just opened her own practice, TK Center for Healing and Wellness, which we will learn more about this evening. Welcome, daughter. I am so glad to have you on the show this evening.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You are doing big things, MeShaundray. Your family is very proud of what you have accomplished. My show is concerned about mental health, especially in our communities. I am excited about what you are doing to heal in these areas. Really excited about that. Really excited about your practice that you've opened up. So I'd like for you to tell us right now a little bit more about your practice. Please tell us about TK Center for Healing and Wellness.
Hello, everyone. So, TK Center for Healing and Wellness is a completely virtual private practice. I offer therapy services for individuals, for families, for couples. Most of the clients I work with, for the most part, it is individual. As far as specialty, I specialize in treating adolescents, young adults in depression, anxiety, relationships, various anger and emotional control issues, as well as self-esteem and life transitions. I am also trained in EMDR, which I know a lot of people have began to come a bit more familiar with this year, and it is an evidence-based approach, therapeutic approach to treating trauma. It also helps with treating anxiety and depression as well, and it continues to grow. My practice
Wow.
is I do take self-pay as well as some insurances, which a lot of times we find various practices, and one of the concerns is insurance. So I do accept insurances, Optum, United Healthcare, Oscar, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Florida Blue, even EAP, New Directions, as well as Aetna.
Wow, that is really great. That's fantastic. You'll be able to service a lot of people. So what is the best way to get an appointment with you? How do you go about that process?
Well, I've made it very easy. I'm all about convenience. So
Good. All
uh,
right.
the way it's set up is you can go online, you can Google the practice, or you can locate my practice on Facebook. And from there, you can book directly for an initial consultation. I do require a 15-minute totally free consultation prior to the initial session, and that's just a way for me to get to know you as well as you get to know me, to make sure that we'll be a good fit for each other, and that
Okay,
is
great. Go
done
ahead. Go ahead.
online.
Okay, so Facebook, you said Facebook and also
Mhm.
Instagram? Is that,
Yes,
can you,
Facebook,
okay.
Instagram, the website, it's TK Center for Healing and Wellness.com. And that is the place where you're going to be able to find the most information about my practice. But yes, Instagram and Facebook as well.
Okay, so that's the TK Center for Healing and Wellness on Facebook, Instagram, and her website. How, MeShaundray, how did you become interested in mental health? Tell us a little bit about your story.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So, I mean, for me, sort of came naturally only because I grew up in various communities where I would see certain things. I would see and hear about things that have happened that people hadn't recovered from, that kind of follows them all the way through adulthood. And people never get treatment for these things, especially in our community. Um, there's a lot of stigma around mental health. I heard a lot of, get over it.
Yes,
And
yes,
it's easy to say that, but it's not easy for someone that is struggling and dealing with that,
yes.
because you don't just get over things. You don't
Right,
just get
right.
over things, especially as it relates to trauma or being, chronically depressed or anxious without
Yes,
appropriate tools, or medications are needed at times. It's difficult to just get over it. So I think a lot of, my going into mental health, going into therapy stemmed from the places I grew up at, noticing the things around me and wanting to know what it was that was going on and how I can help.
okay. Well, that's really important that you were able to see those things and realize, that that was a problem in our
Mhm.
communities. Yes. So someone asked me the other day if I thought mental health was real, or do people just use that as an excuse? What is your answer to that?
Mental health is absolutely 100% real. It's completely real. Um, our mental state, just how we feel emotionally. I mean, how we feel spiritually, how we feel physically, all of it goes along with our mental health. And it's 100% real. I wish that there would be more, and we do try to raise more awareness around mental health, try to educate people more about mental health, because being able to do that is what is going to help us grow as a people.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And that brings me back around to that area of mental health in the Black community.
Hmm.
Mental health in the Black community has always been like a taboo subject, something that people didn't want to talk about. Years ago, if a Black person was advised to go to see a therapist, then the automatic thought was that you were crazy. Families also didn't want to go outside of the family with your problems, even if it was sexual abuse or incest going on.
Hmm.
You just didn't tell the family business. How have we grown in our Black communities around the subject of mental health? What have you seen in your experience as far as improving mental health in the Black communities?
So I will say, as a whole, as a community, we have, as I kind of just went over a little bit before, attempted to be able to raise more awareness as
Yes,
far as mental health goes in the communities, as well as education.
right,
Um, it's difficult to say how much improvement has been done, because we all grew up in families where it was there's a stigma. There's a stigma
yes,
around mental health. There has always been in the Black communities where you don't talk about what went on within the family to
right,
anyone.
right. Yeah, you just
That,
didn't tell you just didn't tell family business, right?
yeah.
As bad as it was, and no matter how bad it was, you just didn't go outside of the family and tell the
Mhm.
family business. But we see people like Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka, and
Absolutely.
they're really, really bringing awareness to the mental health crisis in the Black community, and I'm really glad to see that.
Yes, absolutely. I am definitely loving seeing it, and I believe it helps a lot because we're able to provide information, we're able to spread awareness, but being able to see it share and spread on an even higher level, coming from athletes that people choose to watch throughout their entire life. Just being able
Yes.
to see that, being able to see them speak up,
Yes.
withdraw from various things due to their mental health. I feel like it is spreading and making it more known than some of us could have. I mean, I feel like it'll continue to. It'll continue to.
Good. Yeah, I hope so, and I think it will. I think it's opening up a whole new door to some of our problems. That's going to
Mhm.
bring healing to our communities.
Absolutely.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to heal in our communities in every aspect. Can you give us some examples of triggers that may affect mental health? Um,
So, as far as triggers go, I mean, we all have, every individual is going to have different triggers. When it comes to, I mean, there are so many. When it comes to various traumas, I mean, things as simple as a word, a
a
color,
what? I'm
a
sorry.
word,
A word. A
a
word.
word,
Okay.
a color, a smell,
Mm-hmm.
um, a statement,
Mm-hmm.
people. There are various triggers, but we have to recognize and be aware of what it is that triggers each individual. So it's about learning what your specific triggers are. People
Okay.
that are dealing with depression or dealing with anxiety, or people that are dealing with trauma, your triggers look different.
Okay. So I know that I don't know if anger is considered a trigger, but it's like a cause, maybe. Could it be a cause like anger and stress and unforgiveness, those type of things? Are those like
Mhm.
causes of mental health issues?
Yes, those can definitely affect your mental health. As far as the anger piece goes, when it comes to anger, your trigger is going to be what it is that makes you angry.
Oh, okay. Okay,
So,
that.
whatever it is
Mhm.
that may be making you angry, that's what the
Yeah.
trigger is.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that is causing you to be stressed
Uh-huh.
or causing you to be extremely anxious,
Yeah.
those are going to be your triggers.
And drugs? What do you say about drugs as far as mental health?
Drugs can affect your mental health in various ways. Um, I mean, that's extremely significant.
Hmm.
And what we have to look at when it comes to drugs, a lot of times you may see substance use and you may view it as a trigger, but it's more so what is underlying.
Hmm.
A lot of times when people turn to using drugs is because there is something deeper that has
Okay.
occurred, that's not being addressed, that hasn't been processed.
Getting to the underlying problems,
Mhm.
right?
Absolutely.
And do you put alcohol in that same category?
I would put alcohol in the same category.
Um, I know I found that stress is really significant as well. When people
Mhm.
just are, really stressed about so much, they
Mhm.
just take on so much and never stop, just never
Yeah.
stop. And sometimes there's just a breakdown, you know, a breakdown. So, what are some ways that mental health can be improved? I mean, what are some ways that you treat it, or is it therapy? Is it medication? Is
Mhm.
it both?
So, as far as improving mental health goes, there are so many things that can be done to help improve mental health overall. I will say, for the most part, being able to locate and receive therapy services, sometimes medications are needed. A lot of times, a joint approach, medications coupled with therapy, can be extremely helpful. It's all, I mean, it's dependent upon each individual, it's dependent upon what those various underlying concerns are. Um, but I think one of the main things is people being able to have more access to healthcare, which virtual sessions helps with that, because sometimes people don't have access to cars, but they may have access to get on their phone and complete a therapy session versus having to get in a car and drive to go see someone. Um, there are various platforms online now that offer more affordable access to healthcare as well, where you can go online, you can pay a membership fee and be able to access various therapists within your state that can provide you services, whether virtual or in person. Um, Being able to access health care is one of those main things that we in the healthcare field continue to work on,
Yes.
because
Yes.
accessibility is extremely important, especially in the Black community, because we haven't always had access to
Right.
things.
Right. Right. That's really good. I'm glad that that's, something that's being looked at and improved and being improved upon, because like you said, accessibility is everything for our
Mhm.
communities to be able to, uh, you know, get the help that we need,
Absolutely.
getting, yes. So as far as, you know, getting preventing mental health from being a crisis,
Hmm.
what are some ways that some things that you can do at home before mental health becomes an actual crisis in your life? Can you think of some things that are helpful for people to just,
Of course.
things that they can do at home?
Yeah, so there are so many things that we can do at home to help us before we get to the point of a crisis situation. For one, it's going to be not allowing your mental health to go untreated,
Mm,
not going thinking, oh, well, this is nothing, basically, but being able to utilize self care, being able to practice mindfulness, and that
mm,
can be in the form of deep breathing exercises, in the form of meditation,
mm,
yoga, being able to ground yourself. So, paying attention to your five senses in order to help you. And then self care in general, as far as doing things that you enjoy doing, things that help you to feel better. And a lot of times that may come in the form of reading books, or one of the very popular forms of self care or utilized as a coping skill is going to be music. People love music. So that's a big one. Going for walks,
yes,
being active, staying, you know, physically active
yes,
helps to not only improve us in a physical state, but also in a mental state.
yes, that is great. And we love to dance.
Absolutely. Yes.
I know dancing is big for us in our communities, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I was also thinking of things like, positive self-talk,
Hmm.
just things that you can, give yourself affirmation and
Yes.
encouraging yourself and rest. I think it's so important to rest. People don't get enough rest,
That
you
is
know?
true. That is true.
Yeah,
So
and
you have to have balance.
yes,
Has to
that
be balance.
balance, that
Hmm.
balance. In fact, on my show and in my ministry, I teach people to observe Shabbat, which is the Sabbath day, which God has given us to rest every single week, and I started practicing it many years ago. And it's just phenomenal that, it comes around every Saturday, every Saturday, every Saturday.
Hmm.
He says, rest your body, rest your spirit, rest your mind, and so I think that rest is also so important to our
Very.
mental health. And I thank God that He's given us that day, that Shabbat that we are learning to, get back to and find that day of rest every single week and rest ourselves, just enjoy our families and do some things that we don't get to usually do, and
Mm-hmm.
just have a little fun. So that's really a big thing in my life, is making sure that you get enough rest.
Absolutely.
So I
Very, very
hear.
important.
So you talked about the mindfulness and the self-care and the deep breathing, which is also so I think so great these days, that people are really getting into doing those types of things for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
as far as just clearing your mind, because we get so cluttered. Do you find that with people that just
Oh,
overburdened
yeah.
with things, just so
Yes,
much?
yes.
Yes, yeah,
You have to be able to clear your mind, be able to ground yourself versus overwhelming
yeah,
yourself, because the more you're overwhelmed, the more stressed you become, the more it impacts your mental health.
yeah. And it's easier said than done,
Oh
because
yeah.
a lot of people have a hard time just sitting down and being quiet, or just having a moment of peace. They're
Mhm.
so used to so much noise in
Yeah,
their life, and so much activity in their lives. They just don't know how to slow down, and they
yeah,
just don't realize how much stress all of that is causing you.
absolutely. Definitely easier said than done, but it takes practice.
Yes,
It's
yes,
a matter of making a conscious effort to say, "Hey, I'm going to take an hour to myself today." And that's okay.
yes, yes. I agree with that, definitely.
Hmm.
With all of the different things in our lives that affect our mental health, such as our upbringing, sexual and physical abuse, racism, etc., I also believe it's so important to learn to love ourselves, love ourselves, because sometimes we've been hurt in our families, and it's caused us, I believe this, that it's caused us to have a self-hate, have the self-hate, which causes, I think, can cause mental problems. What do you think? What's your thought about that?
Yes, yes, I definitely agree. Um, Self-love is extremely important. And it's sometimes you may come across people, and on the outside, they
Hmm.
may seem as if, they love themselves so much. And then deep down, um, when getting to know people, you may come to find that they're hurting. Some
Yes,
people are able to put on a face and go out there and continue on. Um, but people have to know it's okay not to be okay.
yes, it's
It's
okay not to
completely
be.
okay not to be okay.
Yes, yes, and you have to learn to love yourself. And I
Hmm.
I know for me, praying is good.
Hmm.
I think praying and learning to experience God's love, because
Hmm.
God is love, to open your heart and your minds and your spirit to His love, so that you can learn to love yourself and forgive yourself and not be hard on yourself. And
Hmm.
um, we have this thing that we do at the school for the children, where we teach them to hug themselves. Just
Hmm.
want to give yourself a big old hug.
Yeah.
So I think that works for adults too. Give yourself a big hug. A big hug. And
Right, right.
yes, and sometimes we have to do those things to help ourselves. And to
So true. So
encourage us.
true.
Yes.
Being able to encourage yourself, being able to utilize the positive affirmations to create positive affirmations. I know one of the things that I like to do, and encourage other people to do, is jot down positive affirmations. Place them on sticky notes. Put them on your mirror, on your ceiling, places where you're going to see them, where you can read them when you wake up in the morning.
Yes.
These things will
Yes.
help you to increase that self love, help you to feel good about yourself, help you to be able to conquer each day.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you Thank you for that. All of those good points and help in our communities. There's help on the way. MeShaundray is here to help you, and I hope that you reach out to her. I want to thank you so much, MeShaundray, for being on my show this evening. And we've been blessed by what you've had to say because you've mentioned a lot of things that I know are going to be very helpful to people. So again, how to contact MeShaundray. You can go to her Facebook page, her Instagram page, TK Center for Healing and Wellness. It also should be on the screen. And if you need Mrs. MeShaundray Thomas, be sure to reach out to her. She is here to help you. She is here to help you. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. So mental health is a big part of it. Mental health is so important to our communities, and we see so many people struggling. So yes, we do want to take advantage of services that are being offered in our communities to help us in these areas and to help us in all areas of our life, getting the rest that you need, getting the exercise that you need, getting, learning to love yourself and forgive yourself and give yourself a hug and just being in a good state of mind. That's where God wants us. He wants us in a good state of mind. So I'm thankful for this session tonight, this show, and I hope it was a blessing to each and every one of you. Please, uh, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everyone who has tuned in this evening. And I'd like to invite you to tune in again next Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time and 7 p.m. Pacific Time. And until then, shalom and may God bless each and every one of you.